What is going on? Oh, God, that's loud. Shit. My bad, guys. All right, that's a little better. What is going on, Mario, here in Fighting FX, in Fighting Exchange, and you know what time it is. It is time for the weekend recap. Wait, let's do that again. Y'all know what time it is, right? It's time for the weekend recap. No, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Y'all don't have to. Down, guys. God. Come on. Then fuck off then. Fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, SummerSlam this past weekend, it is in the books, the 38th annual SummerSlam. Some people were wondering, casuals, mostly were wondering why SummerSlams aren't numbered the way that WrestleManias are. To that I'd say, who gives a shit? I don't know. What does it even matter? Like, WrestleMania is the only one. Why isn't the Royal Rumble numbered? King of the Ring, right? Why don't we number the amount of bad bloods we've had? Because it's stupid. So we don't do that. Who cares? But I will say SummerSlam was a giant cluster of stuff happening. I don't know how to put it any other way than that. In fact, I think that's probably the perfect way to put it. I think that is probably like as poetic as I get, if I'm being honest about it. So we're going to talk about it tonight. SummerSlam night 1, SummerSlam night 2. We're going to review both nights, look at some footage, not a lot, obviously, because we don't YouTube to kick us off and WWE to sue us into non-existence. But after we do that, we're going to, in fact, maybe before we do any of it, because we only have an hour left, we'll get to the Raw after SummerSlam. Now, for those that don't know, there are about 5 to 10 big Raws every year, right? And most of them are the same. They'll do something big for mostly every first Raw of the year. Whatever first Monday of the year, they'll do a big Raw. WrestleMania, Raw after WrestleMania is the premier Raw, Monday Night Raw of the year. Of all the Monday Night Raws in a year time span, it is that WWE Raw after WrestleMania that is looked to be like the PLE of Raws, right? Every week, Raw's weekly TV. That one day, it is basically like a PLE. Or it used to be. It used to be way cooler. I feel so sorry for everybody that we're like so young when before this era, like, and don't like remember or don't know a lot of stuff because they weren't older. Because like, man, that WrestleMania crowd, I was never live for them, but man, watching them on TV as a kid, like, man, it was like everything to be there. You're just like, they're just having this giant party, right? And no one's judging you for being a giant wrestling virgin. And that was the thing, is they did used to judge you a lot. They'd be like, oh, it's fake. Oh, you like sweaty guys wrestling. It's like, so you've never played sports, right? Because like literally every sport is two sweaty guys or girls or multiple running around. Like, the fuck we talking about? But anyway, Raw after SmackDown, SummerSlam, sorry. Raw after SummerSlam. Expectations, what should we expect as it relates to debuts, returns, call-ups? Well, the one that I can tell you for sure, one that I can tell you for sure that is confirmed for today is the one that was confirmed when it was originally confirmed. I don't remember when it was. Let's see. We'll just use Chris Van Vliet for now. So about a couple weeks ago, it was shared. This image right here, shout out to one Chris Van Vliet, who was live, by the way, SummerSlam night 1. Guess he didn't have the juice for night 2. No, I'm just kidding. That's crazy. I'm like nothing in this industry. It's badass that he was able to get the front row. So shout out to him. But CVV has this post right here. This is what I was referencing a few weeks ago. We got this part of a video vignette that basically was like promoting Big Cass coming back by explaining why they didn't want him in the first place. Like it's a weird way to bring him back. And we got this vignette after like 2 weeks. This was like right before Saturday Night Main Events, like 2 weeks before that, where it was like a heavy media onpour of the fact that Enzo had been spotted working out at the WWE training facility in Florida. And so that led to speculation. Speculation led to confirmed rumors from sources unnamed. And the idea was that Enzo and Big Cass were being brought in to reestablish the tag team division at the same time, or not the same time, but like several weeks after they'd already gutted their tag team division. So, how much sense does that make? I don't know, but Big Cass has been waiting for 8-3 to get here, and here we are. A3, but will it be a scary movie like A23? We'll fucking see. Well, A23 is not really scary, but whatever. I am expecting him back, but we're going to talk about that. We are definitely going to talk about that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Zepeda beating Roach. Zepeda. I hate myself sometimes. Zepeda beating Roach in a just absolutely brilliant performance. He outshined him. He outworked him. What does this win mean for Zepeda? We're going to talk about that. What does this win mean for Shakur? How could it mean anything for Shakur? Well, we're going to talk about that. So we'll get into both those things. Ryan Garcia had an interview with Cop. I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to get to this today because it's like a lot that I wanted to go over. But that's okay. We'll go over it tomorrow. Probably end up skipping it because I don't think we're going to have the time to cover it. But it was a fascinating interview. Let's just say that, right? Shout out to Mike Oppinger. The one thing I will say about it is, man, like obviously there'd be no reason for me to ever like feel sorry for Mike Oppinger, right? He's one of the biggest in the biz, and if anything, he should feel sorry for me. No, I'm just kidding. But no. In seriousness, like obviously I don't feel sorry for him being in the position he's in, but I do have empathy for him. I mean, I'm watching this interview on Saturday, right? And I'm like, oh, by the way, helping my brother and his girlfriend move into a house in the fucking 100-degree scorching weather. So it was hot. And I'm watching this interview and I'm like, God, this is the leading American boxing writer, which is to say like top, 1% in the world, having to placate this fucking child, this walking douche. I mean, it was tough to watch, dude. Like Ryan Garcia, it's like he didn't go to school. It's like they didn't take him to school at all. And like, instead, they were like, okay, you're going to learn how to be a human by watching and consuming all this media. So here's like music, here's some like, fucking DVDs and here's unfettered access to the internet and Alex Jones. And like now Ryan Garcia is in a place where he's not grown from that, but he has to be something different than what he has been on the internet over the last several years. And I don't know. I hate everything about him. I mean, pretending like you're not going to give Haney, and I know this is trolling. Everyone's like, oh, he's just trolling. Why do you care? Why do you let him get, why don't you kill Parter? It's like, bro, he just said that he is not going to he's not going to make the biggest fight in boxing until Devin Haney's brother comes out and admits that he's Harry Potter and that he hid some tainted supplement up Snape's ass, and then Hermione reached into her bag of unbottomed wells and then like brought it out somehow, and then him and Ron with Voldemort got into one of those like old school like UK phone booths, and then they traveled into obviously Ryan Garcia's place where I assume he was doing coke and masturbating violently. And they tainted his product, which, because he was on such a strict diet. He was on such a strict regimen that there's no way anything could have accident. He literally is on this interview saying how he was drinking and doing all this crazy shit. And now he's like, these kids must have performed voodoo. They must have performed. And he's like, what's your evidence? He said it. Oh, he said it. Okay. Ryan Garcia has never made a racist comment in his life. You see how I just said that, but it's not true? Like, that's exactly the same thing. I don't know. It's just really hard for me to like watch the top writer in the sport be subjected to having to placate this infantile. And I don't even care. It's not like, oh, he's such a little kid or, oh, he's so immature. It's not that. He's like the douche that we used to hang out with. Like, he's the kid that he was the try hard, the one that wanted to get your attention, the one that wanted to be like the seniors to like him, right? He would lick the toilet seat after the biggest kid on the team took a shit just to fit in, right? He would fucking walk around and show the tennis players his mangina just to fit in. These are things that happen to, you know, us with the tennis players were weird at the school I went to. I'm just going to say that. But either way, like, that's that kid. That's Ryan Garcia. He's the try hard who thinks he's making everybody laugh, but he's making everybody uncomfortable. And then he knocks down your mom's vase, which actually contains the remains of your grandfather. Like, that's Ryan Garcia. That's him. And then his parents are the ones that come over and say, boys will be boys. And it's like, yeah, well, some of them don't have to like unleash their full ADHD on the rest of us in a violent manner. But anyway, enough of that. We'll talk about it tomorrow, probably. Hey Mario, congratulations to Batista. Why? I don't. According to Luke Thomas, nobody likes Mike and thinks he's a sellout, allegedly. I love Luke as well. You know, the thing is there's like a lot of not politics, but there's a lot of like there's just like different reasons why certain people don't vibe with certain people. But listen, I could tell you right now, I don't know Luke very well. Brian Campbell is a guy who I admired very much and was nice enough to take the time out of his schedule when he was rising up the ranks super fast to answer emails from an up and coming writer. I was the first person to get him on the Boxing Voice because I wanted him on so bad. And so I respect Brian. I respect Luke. But I could tell you that if I had both of them on right now, there's no way they wouldn't admit that Mike Coppinger is the premier writer for boxing. He has the most sources. Like, he's replaced what Dan Rafael used to be. Right. And that's not to say, oh, he's like the best writer, everybody else. Not at all. Right. Like, Steve Kim could have been that guy. He didn't probably want to be that guy. I think that he does his thing and he does it well. I don't know. I'm just saying Mike does a great job. And I have zero problems with the interview he conducted. I have zero problems with, you know, I thought he did good trying to get Ryan to loosen up, trying to get Ryan to be more, you know, loose. I think Ryan's just a dude who has like never had friends, like never had bros. So like he tries so hard to get people to like him, and he'll say the things that other people say so that maybe other people will like me type shit. Right. Like, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I was Mr. Popular in school. That's not the case, but I had a bunch of different friends. You know, I had black friends, I had emo friends, I had drug dealer friends, I had friends on the football team, I had friends on the tennis team that would do the mangina way too many times in the boys' locker room. All that to say that, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, so we're going to talk about all that. The final topic of the day, I think we're going to have fun with this one, guys. Okay. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it right now. We're going to introduce this topic because everybody's jumping on. So we're going to introduce this topic real quick right now before we get into the SummerSlam night 1 and night 2. Jake Paul was recent. Hold on. Okay. Now, Jake Paul was recently, as of I think last week, I saw it on like Friday or Saturday. I forgot when I saw it. I saw it like right before SummerSlam, a day or two, maybe. I don't remember. Whatever. Whenever it came out, I saw just the clip of Jake Paul claiming that boxing is more difficult than football. That's right. Now, he was on Ryan Clark's podcast. If you're not familiar with Ryan Clark, he's an ESPN or former ESPN commentator, former NFL player. He has a podcast called The Pivot, which is one of the more faster rising podcasts in the space. where he has other NFL players who come on. Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder, a few other guys have come on. And yeah, he has interviews with people. He's not the most apolitical person, but what he is a guy that's willing to have a conversation, I think, very much so. But, you know, he has strong opinions, as does Jake Paul. And it was a very interesting interview, I think. But this is what was said, and let me play it for you. He also said that Jake Paul hit like a bitch. He said that he hit his that stubbing your toe hurts way more than Jake Paul's punch. Caught a bit of your stream. When do you usually go live? Can I have your stream time to tune in next time? Let's chill about Discord. I was waiting for your request. Oh, champ. Appreciate you. My Discord is outdated. It was for the Infighting podcast before we were canceled and taken off air and shut down. And then I created this one. Did not create a Discord for this one. Still have yet to do it. And for no other reason than I'm big and lazy and just like fucking suck at life sometimes. So, you know what I mean? It'd be like that. So Dave Bautista cast as Kratos in Amazon's God of War. I heard those rumors. I heard that he was being one of that. Shout out to Bautista, champ. Deserves it. That's a great casting. That's a great casting. I'm not gonna lie, I like it a lot. Alex, I'm interested to get your take on this. Just real quick side note. I was watching a clip from the Nerds podcast, and they were saying, you know, the guy from Scream that plays Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, I forget his name, but he was in like all those 90s movies. You remember that guy? They're saying he would have been the best Carnage, which honestly, I think he would have been. First of all, I'm not a fan of where they went with this Venom stuff. It's not that I don't love the Venom franchise, and it's not that I don't love the Venom character. I think making him like an anti-hero was just so stupid. Like, it's fucking Venom, dude. Like what are we gonna make Marvel and Adam Driver a fucking like a guy who just like stops for pedestrians when he's driving? No, dude. No. There's a guy who used metal to fucking kill everyone. So anyway, but shout out to him. So where were we? Right here. Okay. So Jake Paul was on the Pivot podcast, interviewed by Ryan Clark, where he trolled the shit out of them for a while, including Jake Paul trolling Anthony Joshua. But this is where the controversy has come into play.
Way more difficult than football.
And I'm only not true.
It's 100% true. Boxing is way more difficult than football.
And I'm only not true.
It's 100% true.
Again,
study was released like a month ago. The hardest sport in the world is boxing.
They
Number
took
11
90,
was MMA.
They took 90, professional analysts of sports and did a study on what the hardest sports are in the world are, and the number one on there is boxing. And I'm in there by myself. You guys have 10 other players on the field to help you out. And so the mentality is different. The pressure is different. The focus is different. And the training is harder. It's a marathon and a sprint. You guys get a minute in between each play to regroup.
This is like
kidding. You guys get like you can bring out some.
This is like a bring out conversation.
Right? Boxing is number one. Ice hockey is number two. Football is number three.
No, the hardest thing in sports is to hit a baseball going 100 miles per hour.
Skills.
I agree with that totally.
That's a skill. That's a skill metric. This is people who have clearly not had this conversation enough in their life. Which, listen, when you grow up, when your family owns like multiple barbershops, you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm from. The guy that hung out with all the dudes in the barbershop, and we chopped it up about everything. So it's like, bro, you late to the party with that shit. You talking about, the hardest thing to do in baseball. Yeah, it's fucking hard as shit. You're right. But it's not the same thing though as what we're talking about, right? Because you can't hit a ball. You can't work yourself into hitting a curve. Oh, I guess you can work yourself into being better hitting a curve. But so that's like a dumb argument. It's not a dumb argument, but it's not the argument they're making. It's like he just wanted to say something smart.
That's the hardest thing to ever do in a sport.
That's a hard action within a sport, but the overall sport.
Yeah, you could tell I didn't hear this clip because I should have just let Nikita say it.
More difficult.
I see the very condensed version of this clip.
So I would say this: the individuality of boxing and even mixed martial arts makes it difficult, right? If you get hurt in the ring or in the octagon or in the cage, you don't get to come out, right? If Channing gets hurt, another linebacker gets to play. But we've had that conversation. You know, Jake, when Bud sits there and tells me that, then I'm like, yeah, but you're Bud Crawford. I get it.
Boxing is way more difficult than football.
That's
and I'm
also
only
not true.
It's 100% true.
it's-
Again, study was released like a month ago.
It's so funny that he said a study was released a month ago. Oh, was it a study? Was it a study that was released a month ago? Like, okay, so that proves it. Listen, we're gonna have this conversation for sure. Anybody want to call in? The link will be in the chat, live chat. If you're on X right now or you're on Twitch right now, please go to YouTube, hit the sub, and then you'll be able to jump on the live and hit the YouTube. Actually, you know what? Twitch, I'll send it to Twitch too. But there's only like 3 of you there, so who cares? Not who cares. I very much care. Thank you for being there. I just meant like, I'm sure I'm not. None of y'all want to come on. That's fine. No, if Wes Craven was 30 years younger, I would cast him as Carnage. Wes Craven? You mean? Wait. You mean if Wes Craven, the director, the horror director, cast him as Carnage? Because I feel like, and maybe I'm just making this my opinion and taking it from you, which I apologize if that's what I'm doing. Maybe you mean Freddy, Robert Englund, because that would have been a fucking good Carnage. If that's what you meant, fucking salute, bro. If not, I'm still in that shit. That's my idea now. No, I was playing. I can't stand the Warlock as much as Jake. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open this convo up. Y'all, please come in. Come in. Let's get the smoke going. All right. Let's get the smoke going. All right. Listen. Boxing versus football. Which one is harder? Now, harder is a judgment type of thing. Look, I guessed it right. Yes, Robert Englund. I just had a feeling because that made a lot of sense. Shout out to you. I'm still stealing that and pretending it was my idea. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the point I was making is that boxing and football, when you ask what's harder, that's a loaded question, right? That's such a you have to be very specific, right? Because like when you say harder, you mean like harder on the body? Do you mean like harder to perform? Do you mean harder as the more dangerous one? Like which one are you more likely to like possibly die or get paralyzed in? Like, you know, when we talk about harder, what degree or metrics are we using to argue, right? So it's really difficult to have this a good faith conversation on this without first conceding to the idea that both of them are harder than each other when rationally broken down into different facets that make something hard. Okay. Did I lose you? Well, fucking buckle up because I'm high as shit. So it's just going to get worse and worse. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm high as hell. So the thing is this, where's my dip? Babe, is my Zin over there? I got to get Zinned up. Hold up. Yeah, we're a good team. Maybe T'Challa could have just like a little bit of me. All right. Okay. So when we talk about boxing, now I know I lost y'all with what I said. Again, I'm high. When we talk about football and we talk about boxing, we're talking about two different sorts of things. Now I played both and I did both as a youngster. I never played football as a young child. I played when I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Boxing, I never fought or competed in a sanctioned amateur level. I did train at gyms and then competed against my cousins and my neighborhood friends, where, you know, they would come over on Sundays, whatever, you know. So again, I don't have an understanding at the level of which NFL players and boxers have, right? Professional boxers. Now that said, I did play baseball at a fairly high level. I mean, not really, but you know, for most people, right? The average person that played baseball didn't get as far as I got. And in that time, I learned what it took, or I learned at least a very small piece of what it takes to perform at the top level. Okay. Not just like perform at the top level, but like to maintain, right? To get better. There were guys that had these natural gifts, and those natural gifts were enough to completely separate them from the rest of the class growing up. They were the little league studs, the pony ballers, like all the kids, and they dominated all that shit. Then you got to high school, and it was like, okay, do your raw, pure, athletic, God-given hand-eye coordination skills measure up to kids that are now slightly level better and closer to you, right? But maybe they work at it. Maybe they like hit buckets of balls or hit some tee or take fungo, whatever. So what I learned at that time was that LeBron doesn't become LeBron at age 15, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's not when LeBron becomes. Now, if you want to argue, oh, he became LeBron when he played with D Wade, because D Wade taught him how to be like a fucking man, right? And I don't mean that like that sounded weird. I didn't mean it that way. That sounded weird as hell. I mean like on the court to be a leader, which I guess is like a man, right? But I didn't mean it the way it sounded. To be a leader and to intimidate through example, right? Like a lot of people forget. I actually just watched a clip of KG's talking about this, and I've always said this, like, bro, you go back to that early LeBron, you don't want that guy leading your team. Hell no. He was talented as hell, but could he get the veterans to come in? Right? Could he empathize with the rookies enough while also using a firm hand when necessary to teach them how to navigate the very difficult waters of professional sports, specifically that of the NBA? It's hard, dude. They're both hard. Both of them are incredibly difficult, and the pressures with both are different and tough. That said, football is the tougher sport. Football is absolutely the tougher sport, and I'm going to explain why. Again, and let me first say this. I've never thrown up as much on the football field during two-a-days in the Texas summer as I did in the boxing gym after being away for months or years and taking the first 2 weeks, sometimes 3-4 weeks, literally, before I stopped throwing up completely after a workout. I mean, it's not like I throw up every day, but so it's like, it's a situation where football is a sport in which the obstacles change and shift in a way that you have to have a mind-body connection that makes it difficult. Of course, you have to have that as a boxer. Of course you do, right? A boxer, in fact, to a degree, it is all feel. Now, that comes after years of hard work, years of training, years in fights, amateurs, right? Pros, sparring, all that. You got to get back to tying that fucking lace or that rope around the ankle, right? You got to get back to keeping that lead leg in a tire and get back to the basics, right? Digging deep and shit. There is a sense of boxing like riding a bike. Again, I'm not suggesting that the one's as simple as the other. What I am saying is that, like riding a bike, it's the motions that you go through that begin to reconnect the brain in a way that you start to sharpen more and more. So if you've learned how to box and you know at least how to throw a jab and a straight in certain aspects, then guess what? You don't need somebody when you come back to the gym 5-10 years later trying to get back in shape. You don't need that coach there. Yeah, you're going to be a little off a little bit, and it would be great to have a coach that could tell you right away, this is what you're doing, this is how you fix it. But eventually your body is going to snap. It's going to remember. If you record yourself, watch yourself from different angles, study, maybe you have old tape on yourself, maybe you have a tape on a fighter that most you like to resemble. All those things can help your mind-body connection snap into place. But once you're at that pro level, that elite level, that shit is mostly ingrained. We are talking about a percent. We're talking about 0.000000000001% of a second reaction time, right? The subconscious has decided or figured it out and instantly transferred to the consciousness. And there's a clip, I don't know if y'all seen it, of Adrian Broner, and he's sparring with I think he's Chimaev. Who is it? Alex, have you seen it where Broner's in there fucking around with it's one of them Eastern Europeans. I forget who it is. But this is what happens, right? He's saying, they're talking about sparring, and Broner's like, I like to get in real close. I like to do my thing. And so the UFC fighter is like, oh, you mean like, and like he starts to like kind of mimic it, and then he's like working on the shit that Broner just taught him. So he's throwing a sequence of punches, not to make contact, but just to, see what openings are there that he's already absorbed from his time with Broner. Now, Broner did teach him these things to a degree, but what sequence he was going to throw, Broner could not have known. And yet you see Broner catch one punch, roll the other. I think he rolls the other before being in right between his guard, catching that dude with an uppercut, right? That shit's just food. It's ingrained, bro. He's been doing it too long, right? It's mind, body. When you play football, you're talking about audibles. You're talking about having to relearn schemes, right? You're a wide receiver. What does it mean for that cornerback to be playing up on you or off the line? What does it mean for your secondary, for the secondary to shift as the tight end comes off the line? What does it mean if if there's an audible, but you have a completely different secondary, right? Where you have to shift routes off of another audible. So it's like two audibles from your original route that you were going to run. Like, we could go through a million different scenarios. It is the actual calculated moments in football where it's not pure instinct, where it's not pure athletic specimen performing some amazing feat. This is about the mental angst that happens on a quarterback, right? On a wide receiver, on a running back, on the defense, on anyone on the field, but quarterback's probably the best position of all. The physical abilities of some of the past decades quarterbacks potentially outweighed that of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a rare specimen, right? Worked at it, did all that shit. But you could say, who with Tom Brady's abilities could duplicate what he does? You could make that same argument with like Floyd Mayweather, like who could hit like Floyd or punch like Floyd or fight like Floyd against that level? Very few, but there are plenty of people that look sharp on pads. You've seen it, dude. You've seen fucking female coaches out there like, bop, 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 bop. I don't know how much that helps in a fucking fight, for real. Unless you're Floyd Mayweather and you're just already the greatest of all, or one of the greatest of all times. But it looks good as shit. Hell yeah. It's not the training, because they're both hard. I promise you, 2-a-days right now, fucking torture. if you're a football player. But that gym life is a torture every single day you go there, right? I wish I wouldn't have waited so long in life to take an actual fight, like a boxing match. And for those that have heard this story, I apologize, but you know, I've worked out. I've been working out since I learned to work out when I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, my parents bought me a weight set for my birthday, and living with us was a family friend who had just graduated, and my dad had got him a job. So before he got his own place, he had came and lived in a spare room we had for like a few months before he ended up, moving out. And he taught me how to work out. I was 10 years old. By the time I was 12, I was routinely lifting, jogging, and being so short, I knew I was gonna have to work my ass off to even try to play baseball. 5A in Texas. So it was like a behind the 8 ball situation. But when I took that fight as I got older, it wasn't like, oh man, my body's so old or my back hurts after workout. Your back hurts. I've been working out since I was 12 years old. I power lifted for 6 years, 7 years. And to this day, my hips hurt. Like, you can't power lift even successfully without your lower back cramping, without your hips hurting, without your fucking quads and fucking hamstrings just on fire. Random cramps you get. You will always have lower back pain when you're powerlifting. There's no way around it. No way around it. The body expanding muscles and fibers reconnecting in places that the body does not build large muscles, or not that it doesn't. It actually, those are very strong muscles, but doesn't grow those muscles to extreme sizes. You're going to cause cramping. There's no way to deal it. There's no way to get around it. And so I took that first fight thinking, because I've been working out my whole life, I'm going to win. I'm going to win just because he's the fat dude that got in there and started training because he needed motivation. He needed that fight. He had to have that fight in order to get up, right? He beat me. King beat me. And that lit a spark. And when I started training again, I came back. I was older. The hardest part about training wasn't ever the physical toll. Yes, that sucks. Yes, that's hard. The hardest part about boxing was having a motivation, right? And until I had that fight, until I lost, there was like no reason to push myself beyond my comfort limits, right? So in boxing, if you're going to make it to that elite level, you have to find those limits oftentimes on your own and push beyond. So that is difficult. But at some point, you're going to have a coach. You don't get to the tippity top of the sport without having a lot of people put game on you. But by the time you get there, same can be said with football. But the difference is that nobody knows what you did wrong in boxing unless you're getting knocked out like terribly wrong. You can go into a 6-round fight and lose it on the scorecards, not get knocked out, and nobody's going to be like, oh, dude, you were working that fucking jab slip to the body all week. That would have, like, nobody's going to say that, right? But every time you fuck up in football, that coach is right there. No, you fucking, they're bitching you out. So the pressure to compete as a football player with the skill sets that it takes to be a skill player, like a wide receiver, a running back, and a quarterback, and a tight end, I believe outweigh the they outweigh the pressures of boxing, not in magnitude, but in sheer numbers of obstacles. For a boxer, the things that you're going to worry about on fight night are, for the most part, the same from the moment you signed up for the fight, from the moment your camp started. you incorporate what the most risky outcomes are. Whereas in football, man, to have to compete at the highest level is to honestly be perfect more times than not. I can't think of a harder thing to do. I really can't. And if you asked me, and here's the other part, let's talk about this shit right quick. Like, I love boxing, bro. I fucking love it. And there's nothing I could say that could prove it that wouldn't be anecdotal, right? I could tell you that my dad had us watching at 5 years old with him. So it was a bonding thing. And so for us, we'd get together for a barbecue, or the whole family came over, or for a big fight, the whole family came over. We cooked, we fed everyone, right? Maybe we asked people to bring drinks or chips or some shit or tortillas, whatever. But at the end of the day, boxing, MMA, even, football, Cowboys, it's a family experience, right? I love the sport. I love it. I could tell you these gloves are signed by several different fighters. Shout out to the Capatillos. I could tell you that I made this poster of Canelo and David Benavidez by cutting David Benavidez's head out and pasting it over Jaime Munguia's head. I could tell you I fucking went at 3 a.m. to a bar that had just closed down to steal this, or not steal, borrow this Tank and Frank Martin poster. All this is anecdotal, right? But it does speak to the love and fandom I have for the sport. But I would be dishonest if I told y'all any other way. Football is more of a high impact in a moment sport and tough cardiovascularly. Damar Hamlin, very good example. Damar Hamlin, if you don't know, is the Buffalo Bills. Was he a D-back? I think. He was the one who had suffered that very traumatic head injury on Monday Night Football that stopped the game. Dude, Alex, you want to hear something crazy? So that year in fantasy on our in our squad, in our team, in our fantasy league, we had 2 people in the championship. One of them was my brother Ryan. And the other was the newest addition to our fantasy league. Okay. So I've run a fantasy league that we've had since basically high school. We started it 2006-ish, 2007. Played until about 2012. Then the league stopped for 2 years. We picked it back up 2015-16 season, and we've been playing ever since. So I think actually it's 3 years we missed total back to back. But yeah, we've been playing that long. So 2007-ish. That was about to be 20 years. Holy shit. And so I have like a list of so many guys that have wanted to play over the years. Every year these guys call and they're like, hey man, anybody drop out yet? Everybody drop, because everybody that's played in our league, they leave and they tell everybody at the barbershop or wherever we see everybody, like, dude, their fucking league is no joke. Like, these fucking dudes are virgins. Like, they pay for that top secret Patreon level tier to learn all their shit. And it's true, that I've never had to look for another league because this league tests me every year. Bro, this shit was crazy. It was the championship year. This dude that had just gotten in, that my brother got to jump the line because he was a customer of his who had turned into like a real friend. They like watch boxing and shit together. Bro, it was them in the championship. My brother was up by like, I want to say it was like 21 points. No, it was more than that. It was like 28 points. But the guy Daniel he was playing had Josh Allen and then another wide receiver for the Bills. I can't remember who. And the fucking game ended the way it ended. And dude, it was like the worst thing. It was the worst thing to be the league manager at that time, because it was like, damn, dude, like I feel bad for Hamlin. Like, this is crazy. Like, Also, as a football fan, like, I know what the fucking detractors are going to do. They're going to use this game that Hamlin got hurt in, that we should all be respecting him and his family. By the way, his right as a man and a human being, an American, to decide what profession he wants to compete in or wants to be active in. And then for you to put him in this position where you make him a martyr for your cause, saying like, see, told y'all, too much head trauma, or see, football's too barbaric, see, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these guys literally texted me like within 10-20 minutes of the game getting called. And then within the 30 minutes from that, both of them called. And what happened was a week, and I was praying to God they were going to play that game. Oh, I wanted them to play so bad, and just to take this pressure off of me of having to decide how to decide. And what was fucked up is that they were so staunch in their beliefs, and I thought both of them were wrong, right? Because Ryan, who is up, my brother, is saying he deserves the win outright, right? I think Josh Allen had like 1 point at that point in the game, if that. And Daniel's point was it should be split 50-50. He had a quarterback plus a wide receiver. If he had balled out, which, he didn't have to ball out too hard as a quarterback, a good game could be 20 to 25 points. And so they should have split in half. I thought both of them were wrong. They didn't end up playing. It caused a huge fight, not just between them, but between the whole league, right? It turned into this huge thing. And so I had to figure out how to have a vote, and it was crazy. Anyway, speaking of Broner, if it was Broner instead of Bang in that ring sparring with King Green, what happens? People have been talking about this, dude, and I appreciate you bringing this up, right? I don't know why I put my glasses on. I appreciate you bringing this up because I did want to talk about this. I didn't think I was going to get a chance. So if you're not familiar, for everybody who's watching, King Green, Bobby Green, he's a UFC fighter. Hold on, let me pull this thing up. So I'm going to show you just some of the video real quick. He last fought, though, it was this summer. I don't remember when, but he is a lightweight in the UFC, making him 155. So I'd be junior middleweight ish in technically middleweight, but junior middleweight ish in boxing. And so King Green had been challenging Broner on live stream to sparring, and Broner has been kind of using the same lines he's been using ever since he started streaming on Kick with Dean. And that is, I'm an elite motherfucker. I'm a different type of monster in the ring. While that may be true, the problem is that many boxers use that kind of language, to not spar somebody. It's not because they're ducking most of the time. It's just because, like, what does a boxer have to gain from sparring on film with an MMA fighter, right? That's just complete publicity. That's all that is. And if you lose, everyone thinks you're a fucking bitch. And if you win, everyone says you should have, right? So I understand the logic there for Broner. I do. But he leaned in heavy to the, bro, you're not a boxer. You got hands for your MMA, great, but you are not a boxer. So Dean and Broner ended up setting a sparring between one of their fighters and King Green, and King Green smacked the shit out of him, beat him up. It was bad. And then what was so embarrassing, the guy challenged him to fucking Adrian Ross, or what's his name? Ross, whatever, to his brand risk promotion. Oh, dude, I was like desperate. But I'm glad you asked, because look, here's the thing, right? First of all, King Green is a fighter first and foremost. Take it from somebody who got their ass beaten sparring a lot, but was stronger than the other guy, but worked out more than the other guy. It didn't matter. It's what you do in that ring. And part of what you do in that ring is prepared for in your camp, right? The lead up, you train, you do your hours or your road work, all that. But the other part of it is knowing what to expect in the ring, right? I can tell you that I wasn't really surprised because it wasn't sparring. It was really a fight. Sparring is when two guys who are maybe not professionals in the sense that they get paid, but they act like pros because this is something they really want to do, right? The dumbest thing you could do as a fighter is show up to a gym, especially someone else's gym, but show up to your gym and just you have a bad day and try to take it out on somebody else in sparring. Because at some point somebody's going to do it back to you. It causes shit. Like, you just don't want to be on the outs in your own gym. Like, that's crazy. And so, when you're doing that, you're acknowledging you're both in there for work, for clear work. I don't think there's any way around that. And I don't think that when you break the sanctity of it, we're not watching like a boxing match, we're watching a fight. So again, this isn't to say that King Green loses if they didn't have, headgear, or if they didn't have any protection, or if they had, regular gloves or whatever. Like, if we put it in the pro atmosphere, that's not to say that he loses. It is to say that his fighting experience will take over against guys that are novice, against guys that aren't super polished. I would believe that Adrian Broner would tax his ass. I do. Now, I'm not saying he beats him in a fight, because after 2 rounds, what version of Broner's left? So again, we're talking about a fighter in the UFC that's in his prime, beating on a dude who, let's be real, probably bagging groceries in a month. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think Broner pieces him up. But if it turns into a fight, you'd have to favor the guy that's been active, the guy that doesn't have a beer belly, the guy that doesn't drink on stream to doesn't excessively drink on stream. You'd have to favor that guy. So, yeah, I don't know. But either way, look, let's get into the SummerSlam night 1 talk. And this is going to be, I think, a not very controversial take. Are y'all ready? SummerSlam should have been one night. I realize I'm not the first person to say it. You've probably heard several of your favorite podcasters say that already. I'm going to echo it, because night 2 was far better than night 1. So if you think about it, right, you had this show on night 2 that felt much more like a PLE, much more like a big PLE. So if you take the best of night 1 and you mix it into night 2 and you have that kind of show, it's a completely different thing, right? Completely different thing. The other part was like, the show's over at 8. Like, it was still daylight and SummerSlam was over. And don't get me wrong, I definitely appreciate the show ending sooner rather than way too late, like the fucking AEW pay-per-views. But for me, it's like, what was the reason it was 2 nights? It wasn't because you had so much great action that you didn't know where to put it. It wasn't because you had so much must-see big time wrestling that had to be spread out into 2 nights. No. In fact, you had enough for a solid pay-per-view, a 3-hour pay-per-view. You had a solid one that would have probably gone down as one of the best of all time. But the mad breaks don't come in, the mad breaks ain't as special when they don't come in 2s. You know what I mean? The Super Bowl is cool, but you know what would be even cooler? The second night of Super Bowl. So to maximize profit, you got to have 2 nights. So that's 2 whole ticket sales, right? Or 2 whole box office attendance totals, merch, gate, all that, right? Everything, popcorn money. So when you look at it, I think that that's the main problem, is WWE and the pay-per-view in 2 nights showcased, yes, commercials that weren't badly placed. They weren't nearly as bad as they've been, but you had like an 11-minute match between Chad Gable, or no, between Finn Balor and that 4-way, right? Chad Gable and Penta went short. Like, all these matches are being condensed. Why? In favor of ad revenue. And not only that, and we're going to get to the Chad Gable stuff, but the idea seems to be, hey, let's see how we can maximize profit on every single match, which includes not just the bell to bell action, but literally everything in between. So here are these ads, and then before the match, another ad, because Gunther's coming out, and you know what the Gunther is? He's a general. And you know who this year's sponsor is, guys? It's the General Insurance. Go ahead, bring him out. Let's go ahead. Big plush guy. Let's go. So you do that, and we saw what happened with Chad Gable, which ended up being like the lamest shit in the world. That said, I watched a PLE on 2 nights. There was a PLE in there that was 5 stars. There was a PLE that was 4 stars, 4.5 stars. There was a damn fun from the minute it started, the minute it ended show there in that 48 hours. But they could have left a lot of it, mostly on night 1, on the cutting room floor. I don't think beating Trick Williams on that stage, if Baron Corbin's going to win, fine. Let him happen on Raw and SmackDown when nobody's watching. That could have been cut. One of the 6-man tags could have been cut. And let's be honest, that NY Saturday Night Main Events would have been the maybe better time to bring Nikki back and do that route anyway. Although I guess it does take from Fatal Influence winning the tag titles. But there was some filler. There was some more than filler. That said, let's talk. Broner is out of shape right now. Green would be locked in. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If it was sparring and they were going to do what you do in sparring, which is agree you will not go 100%. You will not tip over 90 even, right? If they're doing that and getting work in, I think Broner pieces him up because he's playing Broner's game. If it turns into a fight, then I think Green absolutely beats him. Yes. So I don't know if I made that not clear. Probably I didn't. But to me, it's a difference of like, hey, here's a retired MLB player who used to play 5 years ago. Bro, give him the bat and he's going to do some crazy shit in BP. But like, you send him out in the game, you know, you don't know what his legs are like. You don't know what his bag is like. All I'm saying is that the ability, I think Broner far outweighs Green from what I've seen. From what I've seen in his boxing skills as of late and what I've seen in his MMA career, I don't think there's any question Broner's the better boxer. But yeah, he is fat. He is fat as all get out. Brock Lesnar swings the chair to Femi's back. Chairs brought to you by Wingstop. Yeah, that was bad. So listen, let's get into it. So first of all, no Triple H to start out the show. That, I feel bad for anybody who bet on Poshmark, or what was the other one? Not Poshmark. What was the other one? I forgot it. I forgot the other one that had a big money on Triple H coming out. And he didn't start the show. And that was likely due to poor ticket sales. So let's talk about the ticket sales. Night 1 is reportedly outperformed night 2. That said, all in, it looks like they are at about 67, 68,000. It was like 37 and 34. No. It was like 36 and 33, I think. Something like that. So it'll be just shy of 70, which is a great number. I mean, that's such a great number. Both nights were great. And that's the problem is when you have this pressure to beat every single record every single year, but have no plans to have the action match that kind of growth, what do you expect? You know what I mean? It's like if Doomsday never got, like, the cards never got reshuffled on Doomsday, and Kevin Feige is like at that meeting, that Disney retreat in December, and every single Marvel exec is sitting around the room, and he's like, you know what? We're going to stick with Kang. And you know what else? I think everybody's tired of the old Avengers. Let's go ahead and run Moon Knight. Let's go ahead and run the psychotic bipolar Captain America. And let's make them the new fucking Avengers. Like, no, like, that's stupid. We're look. Okay, I'm not gonna say that, but listen, all I'm gonna say is this: they cut the arena in a way where it was barely noticeable. The only people that really noticed are the people that are looking for it. The crowd was a pretty good crowd, I thought. They were good when they had to be, for sure. Let's say that. But ultimately, yeah, it didn't do the massive numbers that they did in the past. Who cares is what I say, but whatever. It was a thing. It did happen, and we're here to report on it. Triple H didn't start the show, but he definitely kicked his daughter out of Gorilla to go out there. No, she did do what? She didn't do the national anthem. What did she do? Was it God Bless America? She did something. She sings. She's also got like a thing. Hey, what's going on, Bruce? Champ in the building. Yeah, so she did the first night. Darius Rucker did the second night. We'll talk about that. But anyway, show starts off with Io Sky and Liv Morgan. And this is the epitome of why WWE is not super interesting, because 50-50 booking does nothing. Like, I get it. You're Triple H. You got a bunch of shiny toys, and they're all from different, promotions around the world, and you're an indie mark. Fine. You bring them in, but like, somebody's got to lose, dude, and somebody's got to win. And like, it's got to happen. And like, this 50-50 booking idea, like, first of all, I never loved this program. I always hated this program because it was like insulting. Like, they would never, ever, ever have Roman Reigns in the King of the Ring finals get beat by the person he's going to wrestle at the next PLE. Like, show us something different. And that's the other part. Like, Io Sky had this run, dude. She had the, and with Rhea, at least it worked. With Rhea, at least it told a story and evolved. Dude, if I have to sit through Stephanie McCurry, Liv Morgan type shit again, I don't know what I'll do. I really don't. But it was terrible. It was terrible on so many levels that the booking even happened. That said, great match. Whoa, what a great match. Probably the best match of the card, night one. Maybe not the best performance, but maybe the best performance. But all I'm saying is, I think hands down, that may have been the best match that, performed on that first night. My bad. Sorry. I think I got a... Oh, fuck. All right. This is not going good. Okay. So, 68 to 69,000 is what I had counted. And so it just felt like there was no soul on night one. And I don't want to copy, the guy that originally said that. But that's how it feels. And maybe that's not exactly what he meant when he said what he said, but I can tell you that the first match, despite being good, set the tone for the rest of the night. Whereas, like, there's nothing wrong with this event. It's all quality wrestling, but is it the kind of show that they build? Is it the kind of show that they have the prices so exorbitant for? Like, did they deliver in the kind of way that the fans delivered by, showing up 70,000 strong almost, paying the highest cost of tickets in the company's history, You know, they showed up like it was a big show. I don't know if WWE did, you know. So anyway, starting at the top, I just kind of wanted to, like, you know, have that overall thing, and we started with Sky, so, you know, that was part of it. But starting at the top, we got Brock Lesnar and we got Obafemi in the Hell in a Cell. Now, if you didn't know, the storyline was on Saturday that we didn't know who was going to main event. And WWE announced it hours before the pay-per-view was to start, that Obafemi and Brock Lesnar would be in the featured bout of the evening. It turned into a big old drama on the internet. And, you know, of course it did, right? But some interesting rumors. These are all rumors. I am not going to say I believe them at all. In fact, I would urge you to, like, probably not believe them either. But I'm not going to ignore them just because I think it adds to the point that I'm going to make overall. People are saying, there are people that are claiming that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were supposed to go main event, but Cody refused to turn heel. Again, I don't believe that. But what was interesting is that the conversation grew to the point that WWE acknowledged it in the post show, something that I was shocked that they did. And they literally asked Punk to his face about the main event. And he's like, look, I got no fuck. I don't deal with the main event. I don't, you know, I'm here to wrestle. Who am I to say what match goes where, blah, blah, blah. He even said, like, if I'm in the popcorn match, I don't care, blah, blah. And so, the crowd starts chanting Oba, and, you know, he gives this really awesome response that almost seemed like he was getting mad. And, you know, my mark days aren't all behind me, but I can say that I'm not enough of a mark to believe that he's, like, actually mad. That said, this is the stuff you do if you want to sell a heel turn from Punk. You want motivation. How about you became Hulk Hogan and they still won't treat you like Hulk Hogan? Like, I'm not saying that's what's the real narrative. I'm saying that that could work for a reason that Punk is not happy and turns heel. So he was asked about that in the post match, but we ended up getting Lesnar and Oba. The match started fast. Now, from bell to bell was only 11 minutes, but we counted from the moment that the cage came down. It was 14 minutes from that moment to the match ending. But from bell to bell was reportedly 11 minutes. Now, the match started really fast, kind of ended almost faster. It wasn't that the ending was super flat. It did feel, though, like a third of the match was missing. I'm not saying if they get to that golden 15 mark that the match is somehow a 5-star or anything like, or that's even better. Nothing like that. All I'm saying is that it was the main event, you know. It was the main event. 11 minutes, started out fast. So Brock looked like he was in incredible shape. And he very much was. That said, he was gassed as shit. Now, I really can't hold it against him considering the fact he was taking a beating from the early onset. I mean, a beating, right? Stiff shots. We got the Slim Jim table, snapped into that bitch. And then, as Alex brought up earlier, the Wingstop chairs. Now, the Wingstop chairs are interesting for a very specific reason. I'll explain that. They weren't used in the Shield and Seth Rollins match the night after, night 2. That tells you that WWE thought that moment is too serious for Wingstop wings, and yet somehow these two monsters trapped in a cage, you know, that's the perfect spot to put over Wingstop. Strange things. And I wonder this. is like somebody in the back pitching these things like this? Like, are they like, hey, wait a minute. What do you do with a Slim Jim? You snap into it, right? What do the wrestlers do to the tables when they go through them? They snap. They fucking snap. 2 points to Ted. And then it's like, all right, guys, chairs. We need to brand the chairs. How do we brand the chairs? What company sponsor would work on the chairs? And they're just sitting there like, oh, man. And then they start like walking and pacing the room thinking, he's like, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what? I need to sit down and stop my brain for a second. Wing stopping chairs. Like, this is what's going on. They think these are genius things. And it's like, this is lame as shit. Like, I don't know what y'all are doing. But that said, I liked the match. I thought it was a great match. I really do. I thought Brock, going out there and making everybody in the back hold their breath because they don't know what he's going to say every time he gets on the mic. Everybody's saying that Brock booked this thing from day one. And I think that's true. Triple H said, oh, you never know what Brock's going to say when he goes out there. It's like he grabs a mic and you're just like, is he going to retire? Is he going to do this? Blah, blah. And so for Brock to end the match by putting him over, grabbing a mic, calling Oba the future, calling him the past, it was good. I liked it. It was emotional. My problem was I woke up the next day and it was like nothing. And the thing is like 50-50 booking is one thing, but this is a situation where you're dependent on breaking the fourth wall to kind of give something special, right? Because you're not delivering something special, so you have to give the illusion of it, right? So here's Brock doing what he never does. He grabbed a mic. He's breaking the fourth wall, right? And not to jump ahead, but what happens the next night on SummerSlam night 2? What happens that night in the main event? Oh my God, he's paying tribute to Dean Ambrose. Oh my God, commentary said Dean Ambrose. And that's what it is. These guys, so like there's the Unreal board that you have, right? And the cameras are like shooting, like y'all are the cameras shooting my board. But behind the camera, which y'all don't see, behind the camera over here, see how you can't see my hands? Because I'm behind the camera. What you don't see is there's another board that is the real, okay? And these are the fucking like actual storylines they're doing. No, I don't think so. Why do you... Oh shit, you're right, dude. Thank you so much. Although it doesn't, thank you. I appreciate it. I was just being a dick because I was feeling stupid. But I just realized, yeah, it's probably not going to record now because of that. It is. I could record it now, but it's kind of a waste of time. But X will have it though, so it doesn't really matter. I appreciate that though. Appreciate you. So anyway, yeah, Oba Femi giving the interview at the end, kind of feeling like humble, like, oh my God, I can't believe Brock did this. And oh man, what kind words, like, it kind of undermines what they did in the ring a little bit, what they did for those months. Doesn't it a little bit? Or am I tripping? Am I being too hard? If I'm being too hard, tell me. Like, because it was a good moment. I liked it. I did. But Brock could afford to be emotional in that moment, right? Brock could afford to be giving and sincere and pop the crowd with these raw behind the scenes emotions that we've never seen from him before. But Oba's the one that's got to show up the next night, champ. You know what I mean? Like, that's great that you did this and now you could go off and you don't have to be Brock Lesnar no more, but he's still got to be Oba Femi, and that's why honestly it would have been better if it would have been like, guys, this is the future. You're looking at the past and you're looking at the future. Raises his hand and he's like, yeah. And then fucking Oba just fucking decapitates him with a lariat. Just boom. Right? Fucking picks up Paul over his head and chunks him into the crowd. No, I'm just kidding on that part. But like, I just felt like it was a situation where there was never going to be a better moment than that to really define Oba's monstrous nature. Because I'm sorry, he just sounds like a good guy. Like, he does his promos and they're passionate, they're good. I'm not saying they're not. He's a great face, but it's like Braun Strowman when he'd go do the comedy stuff and then he'd come back and try to be like a serious monster. And it's like, we don't believe you. You need more people. Mario, am I wrong to feel jaded by Moxley wanting to be against the grain and choose to be in AEW instead of WWE and not be around for the end of the Shield story? Felt awkward without him. It did feel awkward without him. But you shouldn't feel jaded by Mox. You should feel jaded by everyone else that did it. Like, here's the thing. If Mox's contract comes up and he renews, then it's like, do whatever you want, right? But at this point, Moxley's trapped in a contract. Like, let's say he wanted to be there. There's nothing he could have done. There's nothing that could have been done, without someone else's approval. So my thing is this the last time Seth Rollins and Roman face each other? Because if it's not, then you have to blame WWE for all this. If Seth and Roman face, I will say this. Oh shit, I've just realized Raw started. God damn it. My bad. I'll tell you what would be badass is Seth joins Roman tonight. I'm telling y'all, it would be badass if Seth joins Roman tonight. And then they kind of do their own thing. They have like a new, you know what I mean? And then he could turn on him again. No, I was just playing. But what was I saying? I forgot. Oh, well. This will help me remember. Oh, cool. LA Knight. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So with Moxley, I get you being disappointed that he's not there. And you have every right to feel like, jaded, because why does the Shield lore matter to us more than it does him? Shouldn't it matter to him? You know what I mean? But I don't know if that's right to put that perspective on him, because that's not the choice he made, right? He signed with the company that he felt he was better off with, without knowing that, hey, by the way, in 2026 at SummerSlam, we're going to run the finale of the Shield stuff. But here's the other part, though, Alex. Them putting a lid on it means that if Ambrose does come back and we get that Roman match one day, which you could argue is the real battle between number 1 and number 1A or 1B. Yeah. Oh man, when he came out in the Shield and the things hit, oh my god, bro, that shit hit hard. That hit hard. And then he had the colors, which I didn't get at first, and Michael Cole explained that like this is basically his way of showing like he shed the black, the all black, and now these vibrant colors now represent who he's evolved into and what he evolved into from. I did want Solo to come out though. Man, that's the other part. Like, why did they do the Solo Seth Rollins stuff? Can anybody tell me that? Why they did the Solo Seth Rollins and didn't pay it off at all? That's why I would honestly do the Seth joins Roman, and then Roman has Seth and Solo battle it out, and now we got a heel Seth and a face Solo. Let that work. Let's see what that works like, right? Because we've seen it the other way around. No, thank you. But I want to see a face fucking Solo rip into fucking Seth Rollins. The pew, 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 pew. Like, oh, he's going to burn it down. Oh, that would be so funny, right? That would be hilarious. Oh, I forgot. They're going to do like 3 hours of fucking recaps. Oh, does he walk it all the way down? Seth might want to wind down to part-time now. I could be wrong. I don't know. I wonder because it's like, I don't know. You have X amount of time. Would you rather stay a part-timer now and then maybe come back later and then put yourself in a CM Punk situation? Or would you rather ride the, gears down so you could so that you could have the best version of yourself performing at the time you need it the most, right? As opposed to if he becomes a part-timer in a few years, what does it really matter considering that his body's all beat to shit. Although I appreciate what you're saying, because what you're saying is, hey, Seth shouldn't wait until his body can't handle it anymore. Wrestlers shouldn't retire or shouldn't become part-timers based on the fact that they're not holding up and their body's not holding up. Uh-oh, Roman's got this walk. I have the real heavyweight title. And when you want to acknowledge me, chat, all right, community, listen to me. I'm going to tell this community this one time and this one time only. When I got this belt, you are going to acknowledge me by putting up this, because I'm an asshole. All right? Acknowledge that I'm an asshole. Damn, I love when Roman daps up the kids. The hell is Roman wearing a G-Shock? Never mind. One of the greatest SummerSlam stories. Okay, so real quick, just to finish up on the SummerSlam real quick. I'm gobsmacked that Money in the Bank is 2 months away. No, it's not. Did it get moved again? Holy shit. Oh, it was never in September. Triple Mania is in September. You're right. My bad, dude. Fuck, that's crazy, bro. That's so crazy. I don't love it because it's like you have to force the cash in before Royal Rumble or you don't. Because then you're playing with fire with that cash in. Yeah, that's crazy. But let me say, okay, so was Lesnar and Oba a botch finish? That is a question that's being debated online. I had my own debate with my cousin Adam about this very subject. Now, if you didn't get to see the match, go to fightsatw.com, check out my article. You can read about all the action from night 1, all the action from night 2. And so I remember what he cut. So Lesnar cuts the padding, right? He cuts the mat of the ring and exposes the bare boards, right? The wooden boards, exposes them. So in that, Lesnar has it where he gives an homage to the Undertaker, which was really cool, by the way. I really like that. He gives an homage to the Undertaker, does the thing, and then tombstones Oba on the boards. So the finish comes moments later, and Oba puts him down on the mat. And when you see Lesnar, and I caught this, I didn't put it in my recap because I didn't want to insinuate, but you see Brock do this, and he looks up at the boards, and he's like, or like he kind of gives like a face, like indicating like, damn, like maybe I missed, or like maybe like, oh, we missed him. Like he was supposed to land on the boards. I wonder what y'all think about it. Do y'all think he was supposed to land on the boards? Because initially that was my thought. And that's what Adam believes wholeheartedly. But after I thought about it for more than 20 seconds, I was like, wait, were we supposed to expect Brock Lesnar was going to take that bump? I mean, was he going to break his back on the way out? It's a ridiculous spot for Brock Lesnar, right? You could do it to like a Rey Mysterio. I mean, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you could. And, you know, his body isn't so big that it violently crashes and, you know, fucking breaks a vertebrae versus Brock Lesnar, who is that big. And momentum can only be stopped in certain ways. And those are the ways that you fuck up your back for life. I don't think it really matters. The match made its mark, regardless if the fall from grace was a botch. Here's the thing. I fully agree with you. I won't say that it wouldn't have been better. Sorry, that's a double negative. I think it would have been better slightly if he landed on the boards. It would have been like, oh my God. Because in the other respect, he had already gotten hit with that move. So what about this one finished it off, right? Because all he did was hit the fucking tombstone like moments before that. So what was it that softened Lesnar? Protecting his monster by having another monster out monster him is what would have been, to me, not just poetic, but would have sent Lesnar off in a fashion that he absolutely deserved. And so I agree with you, Alex. Your first sentiment is the correct one, I feel. Who cares? Because it doesn't really matter. It was still a great match, you know. But I will say that there is room to believe that, you know, they were supposed to land on the boards. If they were, kudos to Oba, who knew better. Maybe he didn't even know better. Maybe it was Paul Heyman grabbed Oba by the arm and said, hey, I know the big guy wants to do the spot, but don't put him down hard. Don't put him down hard the hard way. You know, put him down on the mat. All right. Put him down on the mat. Just he'll be fine. It's gonna be a great match. Don't worry about it. Maybe Triple H, you know, caught him. He said, hey, listen, I know the finish, but we're not gonna put him down on the boards. All right. It's his last match. We're not gonna send him out in the hospital. It could have been that. Could have been that. I've been on a sugar kick ever since we saw Spider-Man. I got some gummy worms. Oh, that's the other thing we got to talk about tonight. The gummy worms. I'm just kidding. No, Spider-Man. Went to go see it. I'll say it's my second favorite Spider-Man so far. I wasn't a huge fan of Far From Home. There were so many plot holes for me. So much about it that doesn't really like vibe. And it just kind of felt like, hey, it's going to be a really long time before an Avengers movie. We got to get these people to the crowd. We got to give these people to the, to the audience max. Oh, you know what? Fuck that. All right, let's see what LA Knight has to say. Bow, 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 bow. LA Knight. Y'all. Love you. Hey, did you give me a drink? Oh my gosh. I'm so stupid. I put it in my fridge. Let me talk to you. Do I do a good LA Knight? Let me talk to you. Congratulations on your way to SummerSlam. Champion. And myself. All right, LA. I don't think any of this is worth our time. Damn. Dude, Roman will eviscerate LA Knight. You know, I don't love that they keep going to this like cheating angle and not doing anything about it. Like, imagine if the NFL like had like a report that the referees were like getting together and betting, like they'd address it, they'd do something. Nah. Damn, the crowd's not reacting at all. Damn, he called it a Walmart watch. Whoa. Yo. Roman just sunned him. Oh man, the crowd did not help him there. It spells you suck. It spells you suck. Was the brother comment? What was that? You know, to be fair, sometimes we just got to be like, Roman, why did you walk back in the ring and give him that chance? I mean, that did nothing, though. LA Knight is like if Roman was playing a video game and Knight is the annoying puzzle he has to solve every 3 levels. No, it's like if you're playing Halo and you get past what was it, the strip mall place, and then instead of going to the next level, they make you answer a series of math equations. All right. Another 5 minutes of video. Ethan Page versus Javon Evans? Y'all see that guy dressed like the referee? Y'all see that guy? I love it when people show up to the sporting games dressed like the officials, but nothing compares to baseball. Whenever guys like they get seats behind home plate and they dress up like the umpire, and then the guy will pitch and the catcher catches and they'll be like, oh, acting like, and you see 3 different people doing fucking calls. It's hilarious. It's more creative than it made it sound. I understand totally. What do y'all think of this Oak Street thing? I like it. It looks like a cool movie. The new WWE XM radio channel has a good thing going with that exclusive SummerSlam commentary with Vic Joseph and Booker T. Never expected that. Well, I mean, they've been doing those, haven't they? They've been doing those, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they were doing watch-alongs with non-NXT watch-alongs, but maybe I'm wrong. Listen, it's cool, obviously, that WWE is investing in this kind of programming. I don't know, dude. It just makes me, it's like, because it's like, dude, look, I'm never gonna sell out. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I will sell out. Who knows? But no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I'm maybe, who knows. But I will say this, like, if I do sell out, it would never be in a way that compromises what I can and can't say. And I'm not saying that's what's going on with Busted Open and all the other people that have been absorbed. What I am saying though is that it would fall into the pattern of other things, right? Like let's call a spade a spade. Like if you watch those A&E docs with WWE, they're cool. You know, they don't tell the whole story, of course not. If you watch the fucking Dark Side of the Ring, them bitches are fucking dope. Why? Because they don't have a narrative they're trying to spin. They're not trying to politically protect anyone. They're just trying to tell the best story. That's what we love about wrestling. That's what I've hated about, not hated, but well, maybe hated, yeah, about WWE for a really long time. I mean, I'm talking about like 30 years now. Was this idea that they're the only thing that exists. Like there is no wrestling. Well, okay, so it's not that long, but like after the Attitude Era, after the WCW era ended, for sure, it was like no one else existed. Like, you know, we're gonna ignore all the things you've done outside of this company. And so, what the fuck is this? Oh, the Stranger Things show. House Philadelphia. What the fuck is that? But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll offer me a job. But I just don't expect Busted Open to be like free to say anything. You know what I mean? But like I like Cody's podcast. I mean, they have an incredible, and that was the thing, is they were already dominating with that shit. You know, they were already in a great place. And so absorbing all these different programming choices, and I mean, that's why like this is the only thing I can do, is try to do everything, because it's the only like thing that I have to offer. You know what I mean? Like I've been hitting up people for guest spots, and I have a couple lined up for the next few weeks. But it's like I'm never gonna be able to get y'all like, or not never, but I'm not getting y'all like Stephanie McMahon anytime soon. Like I'm not gonna get y'all fucking Randy Orton anytime soon, right? So then what is it that I can do that will have you tune into this program over the big guys that are going to get those people? Well, for one, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say the things that I honestly feel and believe, and I'm not going to just dick suck the product. Like I can't. I'm not going to. Like why? Why would I? And so it's like that's one benefit you get on my side of the street. The other benefit is that like I do it across the board, you know? So oh damn, Ethan Page. Do we see Cass before or after 9? I'm gonna say before 9. Maybe the top of the hour. What the hell happened? What was that? What did he do? I didn't even see it. He was just like all, and now he's staring at me. I don't like that. Stop looking at me like that, Swan. Oh shit. I was behind. Oh, wow. Dude, come on. No Enzo. That guy's booing. What do you think, Alex? He's like jacked as hell. I don't get this fully. Like, why Javon? This is a guy who's at kind of the bottom of the totem pole. Don't get me wrong, he's fucking popping off as one of the hottest faces in the company and maybe in wrestling, but he's a completely unproven. You know what? You know how he should have debuted. You know how he should have debuted, right? He should have debuted by beating the shit out of the mini Housens. That would have been, hey, full circle. You know what I mean? Dude, it is so quiet in there. This is taking way too long. He's like, yeah, you fucking marks. Bro, why does Roman look like he's like yelling at them like they're little ass boys? That's what I asked. Shit. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Bro, if I was Solo, I would not be taking this shit right now at all, bro. I'd be like, bro, what are you talking about, Roman? Literally, we helped you out all the time. You couldn't have fucking gone out there once to help us? Like, what the fuck? What you mean we had the numbers advantage? No, we didn't. God, dude, WWE really knows how to cut the balls off of their fucking toughest looking talent, bro. I'm telling y'all. Were you the one who had emailed me or not email who DM'd me on IG asking about my collectibles? Howlers, whatever. If it wasn't you, then you're like the third person to ask. But somebody just DM'd me this past weekend asking me about some of the stuff in my background. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something on TikTok where like I showcase everything that I got. So like the dunks that are the special ones. What do you say? Did you see boxing scene say Fury versus Joshua is in New York? Yeah, I saw that, man. Shout out to Machine Gun Matt. And Supermax. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's like it don't matter where it's at, honestly, to me. It really don't. I think it should matter to Fury and AJ. It should matter to them. But if it's like, oh, we got to maximize profit and revenue, I get it. It's like this. The fight has reached a point where the interest and the stakes and what it meant to the sport no longer matches or accompanies the exorbitant amount of money that both fighters would need to step in the ring. So you're talking about two guys who know their worth, two guys who are very used to being the A side, now having to come together to make the most money they've ever made off a single fight. And so if you're the company or if you're one of the entities that has staked so much on this, yeah, of course, I get it. You don't want to go to the O2 when you can make, 5 times the amount in New York. Here's the thing, though. Some people were saying, oh, this is like could be false information being fed. I have always respected the boxing scene. They made some cuts recently that makes me wonder a bit sometimes. They cut some very talented people, but I don't know. I can't see. I guess anybody could just, would want to publish whatever they get, but I don't know. It doesn't, it's not that it doesn't make sense in New York. It just, I can't, if the whole point is maximizing revenue, then I can't see how Vegas doesn't get outdone unless Vegas doesn't see it as a fight they should overpay for. The whole reason they thought they could go to WWE in the first place, WWE, the whole reason they thought they could come to the United States in the first place is because they were very, very willing to believe that WWE, God damn it, I said it again. They were very willing to believe that Las Vegas would pay for Fury Tyson. God, I can't believe they're doing that. This is like so lame. So if y'all don't know, Ronald Reagan instituted that fitness thing when like most of our parents were like kids, or I say most of our parents, like we're all the same age. My parents, I meant to say. Most of the parents, my parents' age. It's just like a photo op. I might just go now. Can you find the dough to make the trek, or is New York in November too cold for you? It's funny you say that, Alex. My first fight in Border Wars when I worked for the Boxing Voice was in Pittsburgh, but in order to make the trek, me and my wife basically turned it into our vacation honeymoon. So I went on vacation and literally had a boxing fight. And then we went and enjoyed Jersey and New York and saw the sights and stuff like that. But it was cold as hell. I remember we got out in Hoboken and we walked along. I think it wasn't a pier, but it was like the water was to the right of us. And we got out. There was this like little cookie shop near that had been like on a lot of Food Network type of shows. So we're like waiting in line and I wanted to go like closer to the water. Dude, it was like this biting cold. But what was even crazier is we had no idea that Doomy and Barbie had bought me and Ash a helicopter tour over New York City. So we got to see the Statue of Liberty. We flew over Central Park. It was cold as fuck, though. I'm not going to lie. And it was one of them helicopter rides where they put you in the strap so you could get outside the helicopter and take pictures and shit. So like we had to have our phone in this like suit thing or like a vest that had it in it. So you could like pull it out and stuff. But it would like, if you dropped it, it would, it was on like a line. I'm telling y'all guys, it was crazy. It was super crazy. But yeah, I might. Fuck. I might. It's not even like the fight itself, but like if you're gonna be there and everybody's gonna be there, shit. Because like when are we gonna get a fight of this magnitude again? Not even in America, just like in general. Like what fight would even be like? I think Devin Ryan is a bigger fight in terms of narrative and stuff, but like would that make as much money? I don't know. Personal question. Do you remember how long you went without intercourse before your fight? 90 days, 2 weeks? It was less than a month for sure. Maybe 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But it wasn't even a thing where I was like, "Oh, I'm going to stop for the sake of my fight and performance." It was more a thing where 3 weeks out, especially because I hadn't trained that first time the way I should have, right? I just lifted and did my regular workout routines. I mean, I boxed and I mixed it up with boxing and stuff, but I kept lifting. So the second time I was pushing myself hard, doing training that I hadn't done in years, circuit type training, the couture circuit, all that kind of stuff, to keep my strength, but to lose the fat. And I just didn't have anything, dude. I would say like 6 weeks out, I pumped it up, or about 6 weeks out, I pumped it up, and then coasted about 2 weeks out, bro. That like time frame in between, I had nothing in me. I come home from the gym, it would be like 2-3 o'clock. That was it. We weren't gonna go on date night that night. Like if you want to go to the movies, I got to take a nap, literally. So yeah, it was more of a there was only enough testosterone in this tank to build some muscle and some cardiovascular. So I guess that Liv Morgan's headed to bigger and better things didn't really pan out, huh? The very idea that this was her first title match on Saturday at night 1, and that she's coming out to do a promo regarding Sol Ruca facing Roxanne Perez. Yo, that's crazy work. Great. And then you ask yourself, like, who would even beef right now with Liv? Like, other than Io Sky, who does Liv face off with that has any sort of real stakes or like real, oh, she could win? That's a tough question. That's a real tough question. Mario, the study question was regarded as sort of saying boxing was the number one. Yeah, I've seen that study, champ. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's flawed inherently, or I'm saying it's flawed. It is flawed inherently in that the kind of data like that, a lot of it's still subjective. And while I think they did a good job of presenting the argument that boxing is the tougher sport, it's a matter of how you're coming at this debate. It's a matter of if you're coming from a place of good faith, right? Because if you want to say, oh, you're telling me that a 10-round fight is easier than the guy that's on the kick return team, that goes out there maybe like a handful of times a game. Of course not. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when it comes to the toughest part of the sport, of each one of them, I believe that the body goes under more stress and is at a higher frequency of competition or talent or output when placed in that situation. So You nailed it, Mario. Big Cass has returned before 9. I know, dude. I was like, here's the thing. You kind of nailed it. You asked the question to me like literally right before that segment popped off. So yeah, man, I'm gonna share that assist with you. Mario, what the fuck are you talking about? LeBron was interested. What? First of all, what are you fucking talking about? What are you saying that LeBron goes anywhere else other than Miami, he wins the titles? Because I don't think that's a debate you really want to have, champ. I think the Celtics probably would have beaten everybody that didn't have a combination of Bosh, LeBron, and D Wade. That's my problem with y'all, bro. That's my problem with y'all. Honestly, like, because I know you're a young head. I already know you gave yourself up a while back, so I know you're a young head, right? And this is the problem with y'all young heads. Y'all see guys like Anthony Edwards, right? And you see guys that are physical specimens, right? And obviously they work hard at their craft, right? And they're very good at what they do, but they're limited at this point by their inexperience and their youth. I do not want Anthony Edwards in game 7 with the most emotions raised, the most stakes, the most pressure, the most I don't know. I'm not saying he chokes. I'm just saying I all I'm saying is that guys like Penny Hardaway, guys like Kobe, guys like D Wade, they were like a different type of animal, right? Like they didn't just play the game of basketball. Like they went to war on that hardwood floor. I didn't even mean that to rhyme. That was a bar though. Oh, yeah, it was this one, the Pacquiao Mayweather. Is this the one you're talking about? It's a coaster. Or are you talking about the top rank one? So I have 3 different ones that were gifted to me and signed by the promoter of the fights that I covered. Well, they weren't gifted to me. They were they were out there to either buy or take. This one though, I was gifted. It came in a 4-pack, but yeah, I have like random shit, like I have Chavez, signed Chavez card. No, okay. Well, the card that I have here isn't signed, but it's the same card that I have signed by Chavez. The shoes are not signed, the dunks. You want me to bring them? So if you know Paul Rodriguez, the comedian, his son is a skateboarder. These were called I think they were called the Undisputeds or the box, something like that. But basically, they're like a Mexico color themed shoe. Paul Rodriguez, and then look, it's got this badass little boxing world title on the shoe thing. So yeah, these were like marketed as like like boxing shoes, but they're like skateboarding type dunk shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, he designed this shoe. I just love the belt, bro. Like I had to have it because of the belt. So I don't wear them very much, I'll be honest. Well, there's somebody on the tape. What you've been told. Alex, have you listened to any of Bully at all? I wasn't gonna listen to it at first, not because I was unwilling to give Kanye a shot as an artist again, because I happen to believe that art comes from a place that we don't really understand. Creativity is probably more like a realm or a headspace in the brain than it is some sort of, it's like a channeling kind of thing. So it's like it belongs to all of us. Obviously, the artist should get paid and make revenue off of what they have, but it isn't theirs and theirs alone is all I'm trying to say. I can honestly see the Mavericks as dark horses this upcoming season with Kyrie and Cooper Flag. Yeah, I could see them as a dark horse, I guess. Yeah, I could see that. Kyrie's going to have to step up with specifically Cooper Flag. That's going to have to be a situation where they both kind of lock in. Paul Rodriguez, Ryan Sheckler, freaking icons. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Oh, man, I used to love – I forgot how old I was when I would, like, come home from school, and then it would be – Ryan's show would be on, and I would just chill for lunch that I wasn't supposed to be home for. Oh shit, this is not what I was looking for. Aspinall. Oh, the Aspinall. Yeah, I guess we just get well, no, I mean I have some stuff for it, so we could do it after Raw, but the news is that Aspinall has returned to full training. And there are rumors circulating that a new round of negotiations is set to start. Or I shouldn't call them negotiations. That's definitely not the word for them. But they are going to, I believe, at least attempt to make the fight. We'll see, though. I don't know if that's a situation that's mended simply because Aspinall's on the mend or is fully better. No, but I was asking if you heard the Ye album because I heard that song with Lauryn Hill on the radio the other day, and I was like, man, you know what? That's actually a fire song. I started listening to it. I'm not even close to done with it because it's like I'll listen to it, hear a couple songs, and then it's like I'll check this out later. But I probably heard about like a quarter of it. I mean, I've definitely heard like at least a little bit of every song almost, but I've actually listened to about a quarter of it maybe. And man, there's some spots where it's like, bro, that's the old Ye right there. I could hear it, I could feel it. Even my wife said, it was like, dude, that sounds like the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye. We want the yeah, so no, it was the SummerSlam thing. I saw it. No, I hadn't talked about it yet. We'll talk about it now. So, it was Brock. I mean, Brock. It was the co-main event of the evening. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. A lot of people said the match was shit. A lot of people said it was the worst match, or one of the worst main events. I don't see that. I really don't. Were there other people who could have done more? Sure, absolutely. Wait, hold on. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Dude, I thought my whole recap just erased. No, you were not. There's not a new Nickelback. Stop it. Holy shit, he's not fucking making it up. Oh, wait, it's not out. There's only 2 songs out. How is it? Is it good? Yo, this album cover's fire. You know, this is why I fuck with you, Alex. You know what? Not embarrassed to say you're a Nickelback fan after the internet was lame as hell and pretended like what the fuck? Oh. And pretended like Nickelback sucked when they didn't. Oh, dude, let me tell you. First of all, not only did you tie for first with my cousin, the only reason I don't have it for today, I'm gonna do it for tomorrow, is because ChatGPT was being whack. It kept telling me that I needed to redo the prompt, and it was just this whole thing. So I should have done it yesterday. But either way, yeah, you came in second. I came in dead last. Dead last. It was the worst event I've picked since I started streaming, since I started covering the sport. Honestly, I was so way off. But you know, to be fair, I think I booked with my heart for a lot of the show. Who comes out to save Soul? She was a heel. She looks like she's walking weird, like she's fucking hurt or something. When the man comes around. Damn, she called her out. She said before you said which cousin what? My bad. I'm sorry. You put that earlier. I should have seen that. I think Roman has 3 major matches left. Cody 3, yes. Obafemi, yes. The final boss. Oh man, I hate that you said that and left out Braun Breaker, and I hate even more that you're right to leave him out. Yeah, those are his 3 top matches. You're absolutely right. I feel like there was once upon a time in the last 16 months, or yeah, something like that, that Braun Breaker was in there. Damn. Whoa! Fuck Becky. Call her Messy Becky. Call her Messy Bex. Oh, Stephanie McCurk, dude. Okay, this is like. So from now on, we're not getting just one return. We're getting two at a time, or what's going on here? Dude, she said you're not even the best champion in your group, referring to Raquel Rodriguez. Then she said, hell, you're not even the best women's champ to have ever slept with Dom Mysterio, referring, of course, to Rhea. That was a fire line. Because I'm the fireman. I'm the fireman. Call Becky fireman. She's a fucking fireman. Becky's talking shit and Stephanie's talking shit back. She's like, oh, I forgot. You speak Spanish. Becky just starts crying, and now Stephanie Vaquer has the reputation of making all the women roster cry. The hell was that, Michael Cole? Roxy is taking the belt from Liv. Still seeing it in my head. Really? I don't see it. I don't see it. I feel like she's so far from where she could be for sure. God, remember when he just dismantled poor little fucking Spike Dudley, dude? Oh my God, this is crazy. Dude, there was a different aura around Brock. I'm sorry. There's never going to be anyone like Lesnar. I think I'm ready to say, and this is a big, big, big thing to say, and I could be wrong. I'll accept it if I'm wrong, but I'm willing to say that Brock Lesnar will go down as a more successful pro wrestling heel than Andre the Giant. I'm not saying that he was as important to wrestling as Andre. I'm not comparing the two's work. I'm just simply saying that at some point Andre the Giant could barely fucking move. Okay? At some point it was all a nostalgia act. At some point it was a person with a crippling disease who was relying on, a version of himself that wasn't all that much more athletic. Whereas Brock Lesnar, there's definitely a difference between peak Brock Lesnar and not peak Brock Lesnar, but oh boy, he was a fucking monster every time he stepped into that ring. So I wonder how Lola Vice will squeeze into either of the main roster shows. Yeah, I know. I've been wondering too. I think it might happen at Triple Mania, but after Triple Mania, but I could see her as a WrestleMania call up. That's one of the problems that NXT has. It's like, if you're going to be that, then you need to keep sending people down as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Look, you look at the MLB, a lot of guys that become badass, they don't fucking go up and then stay up. A lot of them get called back down, right? They got to relearn some stuff. They got to, train and retrain certain aspects of their game. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh shit, Paul. Oh, right. Oba wearing something. Oh my God, fucking make out already. Jeez. Oh, what a monster. What a monster. I'm just, how I'm going to beat Oba? I'm going to go up to him. I'm just going to stroke his ego and he'll just fall on the floor and wait for me to make out with him. And I'll pin him down 1, 2, 3. God, he's supposed to be a beast, a monster, an uncontrollable force, the ruler. But really, he's no better than any fucking streamer out in the world. Show him love, he'll show you love. Show him the opposite, and that's what he'll give you right back. It's not something I want to see. You know what? They should have Stone Cold come out. And then Oba comes and squashes him. And he says, last time you were here, a monster let you take your ball home. Today, I flatten your bald bitch head. Dude, tell me that wouldn't be hard as hell. Tell me y'all wouldn't be like, holy shit, he done fucked the game up with that one. Oba's coming out. Oba's coming out. He wants the world to see that he beat Brocky. Oba's coming out. He has no more rage. He left it in the cage. Oba's coming out. You can say he's a dumb thought because he wasted his title shot. I made all that up as I went. Mario, what did you think about? Okay. No spoilers. I think it's way too early. So many people have yet to go watch the movie. I don't think spoilers is a good idea. That said, look, it's really tough, dude. I thought Spider-Man was great. I do. Without giving any spoilers, I thought that they touched on what we wanted. What we wanted and what we'd been wanting is a street level Spider-Man, right? It was like the moment we got introduced to Spider-Man, he's, in Civil War and he's battling fucking aliens in space. So it's like we wanted a more grounded story, right? Not like a Batman realism story, but something more grounded, right? Something more akin to what he faced in the comic books. So we got part of that as the movie. And also I feel like the villain of the movie is kind of wasted, despite the fact that we're given a couple. I don't know. But this is what I was gonna say. It's really hard. It's really, really hard for a film that we now know, seen in this order, where it's like the one before the big one. So much expectation is put on it. I remember going to see Black Panther and a lot of people leaving the theater saying, not that it sucked, but they were disappointed because they were expecting the Orange Stone. What was that called? The Reality Stone. We were expecting to find it in that movie because it was the only stone that had yet to be revealed, and we thought they're going to have to reveal all the stones before Infinity Wars. They didn't. Black Panther went on. It was a great movie, but it didn't touch anything on the what was it? The Orange Stone? I forget what it's called. Oh, oh. Bye. Bro, that man looks fucking scary no matter what he wears. He looked like he about to start singing in church. Oh, that man doesn't even know how to do it. Hello? What's up? Yeah, it was cool. That's what's in that thing that I bring over. Yeah. Yeah, that one's badass. But oh yeah. Oh well. Oh, okay. What do you say? Oh, okay. Yeah, just I'll wait till. Yeah, if he doesn't get it by tomorrow or whatever, then I'll get it. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Well, I'm gonna finish Raw. All right, later. Oh, he talking that shit. Ooh, that was a fire line. AKA, don't call me a dumbass because I didn't take the title match. You know, but the problem is it's like kind of a big fat nothing, right? Like I love Oba. Okay, all right, we'll take this. Braun Breaker and Obafemi does not have the potential, the momentum it should have had. Like they're staring each other down right now. I don't care. What am I supposed to pretend that Breaker's I should see Breaker on the same level as Oba right now? Please don't tell me that's the case. Please don't tell me that's the case. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, Breaker, just tell him some like nice words, and he'll be like, oh yeah, never mind, you're cool, you're chill as hell. No, I could see it going Oba Breaker. That is like something they tease for a while. Like, I mean, I'm assuming we're not going to see Breaker and Obafemi in the at War Games in the same match, but maybe like they started at Royal Rumble, where like they kind of get into it. Maybe, I don't know. I'll take my victory lap again. I told y'all not to panic over Breaker. Okay, I mean, I don't know if that's like confirmation. I mean, because that's the thing is we've gotten this with Breaker. Remember they did that with him and Roman, and it was like, okay, well that was for nothing. I'll tell you what, I would love to see Gunther and Oba right now work. That would be like high stakes shit. So is Seth Rollins like not going to come out tonight? There's no way that Heyman literally showed up to Des Moines, Iowa to just do that one spot, right? Right, guys? We're not saying that, right? That was whack. That was whack. He barely fucking did that. Heyman does a lot of backstage stuff. Okay, I had this conversation on Sunday. No, he doesn't. Okay, yes, he does. He's very involved in backstage stuff as it relates to his work and who he's working with. Now, there may be situations where he's working with or booking something that has to do with a wrestler that he has either an interest in or was working with or whatever, but he doesn't book shows. He's not like a Dusty. He's not like a yeah, if you're sending Breaker out there and he doesn't even have to take off his shirt for his segment, I think you're not using him well. I heard Theory tell Braun that's money later. That's money later. Oh, nice. Thank you. Did he really say that, Alex? Because I'm gonna put that in my segment if he did. Yo, they just got Tozawa just saved them, guys. Do y'all understand what we're saying there? Tozawa just made the save. Wow. 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 Not even Otis, bro. That's crazy. That felt real flat. I'm not gonna lie. No thanks. No, he wasn't. Javon Evans wasn't in the way at all. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We got big guys. We don't. I mean, it's not like you can't have too many big guys, but it's like we got Oba, bro. We got Breaker, bro. All right. Just because we lost Lesnar, don't mean we need fucking. I mean, I like Big Cass. I do. It's just like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, y'all aren't gonna make him a world champion. He's not gonna be a main eventer. So why not bring him back with Enzo and give us the pop that we're looking for? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Dre say they told me. No. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. No, YouTube's good, so is Twitch. Okay. So listen, guys, same thing as always, this fucking thing. I think I'm gonna have to restart. So this is what we'll do. We'll come back for the last hour, or we'll come back after the last hour, and we'll finish the topics, and then we'll get into the usual Monday night gameplay. So appreciate everybody for tapping in. We will be right back. I don't really want to end the stream, but I think I'm gonna have to because I won't be able to come back up on YouTube or X if I don't. So appreciate everybody for tapping in. Infight and FX, hit the sub, hit the follow. For those that aren't going to stick around for tonight, we will see you tomorrow where we will cover the end of Raw and get into some of the stuff that we'll be seeing over the next couple of weeks, specifically AAA and Triple Mania on the calendar. So we'll be right back. But for those until tomorrow, peace.